Runaway boy lived in the elevator shaft of an apartment complex for 2 months. In 1982, a 15-year-old runaway boy lived in the elevator shaft of an apartment complex for 2 months without anyone realizing it, rewiring the elevator to work according to his needs. He was caught after residents smelled the aroma of hot dogs wafting up through the shaft. His home also had a bed, lights, a propane stove, a fire extinguisher, a stereo, and several other essentials. He entered and left this makeshift home by picking deadbolt locks to the apartment garage, and very efficiently got around alarms by activating and deactivating them. Sean Culkin, 15, described as very intelligent and an electronic whiz kid, left the Douglas House shelter Friday and was last seen with his belongings stuffed into 2 pillowcases. Police said Culkin was believed headed for New York City to join his mother, Judy, who met last week with officials of the State Department of Children and Youth Services, which had custody of the teenager after he was discovered by an elevator repairman. Culkin was arrested when authorities discovered his hideout in the elevator shaft. Police said they believed he had been living in the shaft for 2 months. The youth allegedly used stolen car batteries to provide electricity in his hideaway and pilfered pay telephones for spending money while living in the elevator shaft at an apartment complex where he once lived, police said. Charges of burglary, theft, and criminal trespass were pending against the youth, who had lived alternately with his mother and father, Terry Culkin, an actor in New York, since his parents' divorce several years ago. The young Culkin was back on the run before officials could rule on his mother's request for permanent custody. Investigators interviewed Judy Culkin in New Haven to determine whether she was a fit and competent parent. Officials speculated, however, the youth was troubled by the delay and decided to rejoin his mother on his own. They said Culkin needed professional help for both medical and emotional problems. Shelter director said he had been concerned Culkin would run away, but his fears subsided after the youth began to join in group sessions at the center. Initially he talked about it, running away, he said. But after he got into group sessions and saw other kids had the same problems, he settled down. Police said the youth had wired the phone of the elevator so he could make outside calls, and rewired the elevator itself so he could stop it at a higher level to allow more ceiling space in his dingy quarters. His hiding place was discovered by an elevator repairman after tenants repeatedly complained the elevator did not work properly after 6 p.m. each night. Shelter director said, Culkin tried to fix everything in sight and was allowed to repair a floor and piano. A teenager who knew the youth described him as sad, calm, and much messed up.